The new United States of America was distinctive among the nations of the world in that it was born out of ideas and ideals rather than from centuries-old shared racial or radical ancestral bonds. Now, the American Revolution shared not only an independent new republic, but also a different conception of politics than of those European countries. Americans did not want monarchs, they did not want nobles, they did not want aristocrats, they did not want commoners known as part of the hierarchy of any social class. Instead, the United States wanted to add more and more value on protecting individual interests with life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The most important value and ideals in all of what American is made of is that all men must be created equal with liberty and justice for all. The result of the first election, held under, of course, the new Constitution, made it clear that the fighting and the pledging government was going to be managed by those who had drawn up the document of many, of course, of the supporters. Now, the Federalists made sure that the drafted Constitution, did not leave any gaps so that they can build a structure of a strong centralized government. So this is the Constitution right here, as you could see, and obviously the Constitution was followed by the Federalists, and the Federalists supported it, and they wanted a very centralized government. Now, the fight for its ratification was not an easy process. Now, why? Well, in the United States, there were a lot of political debates that even held that took place in so many different meetings, and some of these debates really led into some violence. But nevertheless, the process was seen as the first in the world history that diverse group of people representing a large nation were able to discuss, debate, and decide by a peaceful vote how they want to be governed. So in essence, this is the beginning of democracy, right? So now, the new Constitution provided the framework, of nationhood, So this is, in many ways, the Constitution, right? So the Constitution, the first thing, it's about nationhood. Of course, there are different policies that is involved in here, and laws, right? New laws and laws that are being implemented now all throughout the nation. It provided a framework of nationhood, but not really a blueprint. This Constitution was ratified, in 1788. Now, why did it take a lot of time? Well, of course, as we said before, ratification takes a lot of discussions and a lot of meetings that took place for everybody to be able to put in their ideas together, right? But the Constitution promised to create a more powerful and centralized government, better capable of managing a growing nation. Now, let's take a look at here for a minute. As a new government was building, important meetings started to also take place, such as on March 4th, 1789. A new formalized Congress convened in New York City. The government, in many ways at that time, was also structuring. George Washington was forming his administration, including Alexander Hamilton as the head of the Department of Treasury, and Edmund Randolph as the head of the Department of in many ways, today is the Department of Justice, but Edmund Randolph was our first Attorney General. The structure of the federal court system, like that of the executive departments, was left in many ways to Congress to decide on, except for the Chief Justice and, of course, the Supreme Court. In all, the Federalist establishment, created the court system. The executive department, which included the State Department, the Treasury Department, the War Department, okay? Today that is known as the Department of Defense, but back then it was known as the War Department, as well as the Attorney General, okay, office, which is known today as the Justice Department. They created all this department as part of the executive branch of the government. And back then, the Postmaster General was also, okay, under the executive branch of the government. Now, all of this is going to be very clear to you that the United States is moving onward to founding its executive branch, the government that will promote policies and the laws. Now, as you can see, even though this lecture has certain areas in terms of how to build a new nation, there are also other important topics, and I encourage all of you to continue, okay, reading supplemental materials and maybe look at the CLEF review books and some of the chapters that we are recommending for you so that you could understand a lot of this information as the nation is building as the 18th century and the 19th century go on.